Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Carlson number LS703RH. This is a spring-loaded lift mechanism, back-mounted, right hand, and with an orange lifting mechanism, an orange spring, which we'll discuss that in a moment. So the LS703, all of that conspires to mean that it is a back-mounted lifting mechanism compared to a side-mounted version, which we'll talk more about in a moment. This means that it's going to mount to the lid and then to the back wall of the footlocker, cabinet, whatever you're building. The RH versus the LH. When you are facing the, I'll use the term footlocker. I realize you probably won't call the nice piece of furniture that you'll put at the end of your children's bed, like my son has. It's not called a footlocker, but my dad would call it a footlocker. So when you lift that lid up, the left is on the left and the right is on the right. It's that simple. So when you are, this is my right because I'm facing opposite of you. When you look at this in the video, when you're watching the video, this is the right-hand version. This is exactly what it'll look like. The left hand would be installed here, and its mounting pads would be faced towards the center, so the left would be here. Okay? And the lid would open up like this in front of you. Well, this portion would move. The spring is orange. They generally will get a coating of a colored material on there to identify it. I couldn't tell if that's orange or not, but we're going to discuss that. Now, let's look at the balance of the technical information that is down below this video. Self-balancing lid closure. That means that this is going to hold the lid open in any position that you place it. It's not going to slam. It's not going to spring up. It's going to stay in a position that you like. The 703, lefts or rights, regardless of the hand, regardless of the spring type, meaning the color of the spring, meaning how heavy of a load it is rated for, are always back mounted, rather than the lid portion is always going to go to the lid, but you could have this bent in such a way that it will mount to the sidewall. Okay? This is a back-mounted version. Available in either statutory bronze or black oxide finish. This is what's called statutory bronze, the color of the outer casing. These can be done in black finish. It is incredibly problematic and long lead time to get black. It is a special setup for the factory, and they constantly confuse black oxide finish for black spring. So we'll get a statutory bronze with a black spring, which happens to be for an incredibly heavy lid. Not very common. It can be done in black oxide finish. Expect that there'll have to be a redo because the factory, even in spite of the spring color is orange, but we need the outer casing in black oxide finish. I'm not sure who's making the mistake, but it's happened more than once, is why I mention it. Anyway, if you're able to be patient with the lead time, go for black oxide if you want black. Features a solid brass enclosure slide. Cover brackets are riveted to the cams. Rivets here. Well, rivet here. High quality spring, available in different tensions for different lid sizes, and that is referring to the color of the spring. We'll go over that in a moment. Screws are not included, so do keep that in mind. I'm going to think a number 6 pan head would be where you'd want to start with that. Orange spring, made of steel, with the exception of that brass component that's the sleeve that's inside of there. Now the pound rating. We've got a pound rating to start to discuss. Moving on with the pound rating, let's take a look at, below this video, below the extended description, is a calculator that we built. And you can enter the height of the lid, distance from the back to the front of the lid, and the weight of the lid. And you can use that to calculate, and it will then give you the color of spring you should order. Below that, and we're going to go over that manually in a moment. Below that is a video from the manufacturer showing exactly what a finished product looks like. A couple of photographs as well. There is a link below this video to a document called Assembly of 700 Series. And then let's go to the second PDF. It's called Mounting Diagrams. It very simply shows you what the different versions look like. The 702 compared to the 703, and then the 900, which we don't sell often at all. I may have only sold a couple of those every year. The 703 is probably the most common, but a 702 is used often as well. But 703 is by far the most common. So that clears that easy PDF off of our list. Now, Assembly of 700 Series. Let's skip 1 and 2 and go directly to the chart that's down there. On the right-hand side, below the drawing on page 1, to find inch pounds, and inch pounds is what they call the value that you're going to use to determine spring color. To find inch pounds, multiply half the distance from front to back times the weight of the lid. Half the distance. So they say that it's the height of the lid. You know, if the lid is open, or how deep is the lid? When it's closed, how far back does it go? Let's say 12 inch. Multiply half the distance from front to back. 12 times half, so it's 6, multiplied by the weight of the lid. Let's say 5 pounds. 6 times 5 is 30. Looking at the chart, you can see that you're going to be at a gray colored spring. Don't sell much gray. Yellow, maroon, those are common colors. I had stated black was unusual. I was thinking white when I was saying that. So you've got your foot locker, you're standing in front of it, and it's closed. How deep is the lid? Take half of that, multiply it by the weight of the lid, use that chart to figure the rest. Our online calculator does the same thing. Built it just for the fun of it, I suppose, is what we did. That's how you're going to determine the spring color that you're going to use. So now, if you have any questions on anything prior that we've talked about, let me know. Let us know. Moving on, step 1. Place lid support on either side panel or left side, on either right side panel or the left side panel, depending on location of U-bracket on the housing. So if you've ordered a left hand or a right hand, place it on that side. The factory will tell you when you have a back wall mounted, you can use 2 lefts, you can use 2 rights. They operate the same way. There's no difference. However, if it was my locker, my foot locker, I would want a symmetrical, you know, or an asymmetrical, I suppose, a balanced look is what I would want. But you can use 2 left hands or 2 right hands. 1.25 inches from the center line of the hinge pin that's going from the back of the lid, or in this case, to where these screws are going to line up. And they're showing, we're going to want to scroll down to, I started reading the 702 series, forgive me. 703 series is, we have to stop. I was reading the 702. Scroll down to the bottom of page 1. Let's look at the 703 series installation. Place bottom bracket so that the top screw hole is 1/16 down from the top of the back panel. Okay, that's easy. And number 6 sheet metal screw, I was correct with that at least. Secure the second screw as well, so you're in good shape. How far over you put it, the images from the factory show a dimension that they're well kicked into the center. There's no hard and fast rule. I'd probably balance them myself. Maybe not a third in and a third in. To leave a third, I'd probably go, 25% in, make it look balanced, whatever. It's going to work either way that you proceed. Open the lid to approximately 90 degrees and place lid support against the underside of the lid with cover bracket flat against the surface of the lid. Well, it's going to be close to that. The distance from the back edge to the lid to the first screw hole should be about 3 inch. So from the bottom of the lid up to this first hole, 3 inch. It should be that. At that point, screw the second hole in, and at that point, you're done. Obviously, test for proper operation. Page 2 are extremely detailed dimensional drawings of both the 702 and 703, showing you the way that they articulate in an open position and then into a closed position. With these series of units, obviously you have to have hinges separately to this hardware, whether it's going to be a piano hinge or a hinge that you would see actually in the cabinet hinge type that they have shown there would work as well. You need to basically have an axis of pivoting that is going to be compliant with the concept of a piano hinge. That axis of pivoting needs to be right on the outside of the seam between the top lid and the back wall. Right here is where that needs to be. So that is going to open correctly for you. Okay. So we have discussed the type. We've discussed how to determine the spring color, how it's installed, shown you some regular videos and the PDF documents. So finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Carlson products that we sell, but a link to the manufacturer's website as well. If you have any questions on the Carlson LS703RH Orange lifting mechanism or any other Carlson product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.